Yo, time for the fingies. So this is going to be, I think, pretty straightforward. I'm going to do the middle finger, I think. So we want to have 8 going around. So, we kind of want a midline, and then I want to have 2 lines on either side. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 1 down the side. That's 4. And then we want to have 1, 2, 3, and then midline. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's my 8 points that I want for the hand. But just so we know here, remember we have 10 on the thumb. So we might end up wanting to add a couple of loops. So I'm going to make sure that my dividing ones are a little bit higher than normal, because that's going to give me a bit of room to add in another one if we want to just insert an edge loop or something. But for now, I just want to have a midline, top and bottom, and then have the top and bottom kind of defined. And then we'll just have kind of one on the side of the hand. 1 point, I mean. So, yeah, I'll probably just do like out here somewhere. And then we'll just like try and make these make sense a little bit. We won't be able to really see until we make the faces. Okay, so okay, shifty time. Whoa, what are you going all the way back there for? Ignore that one for now. It seems to be having a bit. There we go. Bit of trouble. Did I miss a point? There we go. So there's the first little smidge of geo there, and why is it only in? Why can't I grab that vertex? I don't want to work with the faces. I don't know what's going on now. So just adjusting points. It wouldn't really let me do. Why won't it let me do faces, edges, but it won't let me get at that vertex? I suspect it's inside the geo or something. Yeah, that's probably all it is. This one's a bit hard to do as well. All right, there we go. There it is. Oh yeah. Just have to be really kind of careful. Ooh, that's a weird shape there. All right, I'm gonna go with that, I guess. Just trying to straighten the line up a little bit. Okay, and then tabbing, extruding out. I'm gonna go to the middle of the joint. Oh, you know what? That's why it's not working, because I didn't make it live, because I'm a dum-dum. I can't seem to select this for some reason. Well, very weird. Let's see why that is. Oh, it is live. Still. That's why I couldn't select it before. I don't know why it's not... It's not behaving properly. Anyway, I'm gonna go in the top view. Just so I can try and straighten this line up a little bit. This actually might be something to do in... yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to un-isolate or unliven, deliven, and then I'm just going to snap align these. So I'm just going to grab these verts, hit W, drag it forward, sorry, X, and then the same here. There we go. Oh, that's weird. Why is that doing that? It's got to be in world space. I don't like it when the pivot's not in the middle. Why would that not be the case? Okay, that's really weird. More strangeness. So why is the pivot off from the center? Insert. Doesn't even make any sense. Retain Camo spacing is off. Symmetry is off. World space. Oh, I'm at a loss. Ah, that's why. I had it in smooth mode. Idiot. All right, so yeah, there we go. So that's lined up, everything's good. Bring the hand back, make it alive. Grab the mesh, quad draw, and let's go back into perspective. I'm gonna do the top here for a minute, and then so tab. So what I've done is kind of like the middle of the finger. I can't really tell where the joint is. It's a bit swollen here, so I'm going to assume that's where the joint is. So kind of the middle of the phalange, then the joint line, and then the middle again, and then I'm going to go to where the middle of the joint is. So bring that forward to about where the joint is, and then I like to do the nail bed start halfway through the nail bed out to the tip, and then remember the end we're going to enclose like we did on the thumb. So right, let's exit this tool and let's see if we can't get these points. So I think that's the center. So I'm just going to push this back because I think that looks like the widest point, and then that means that this can come back a little bit. You know what, let's just do this. I'm going to set these so that this is the joint line. So remember, we want to have 3 loops per joint. There's another joint here. And what we can do is insert edge loop. So I'm going to put maybe 2 in here. And I'm going to have, that's my joint line, and then I'm going to put 1 in there. So I kind of have 2 along this line, then 3 for the joint, 1 in between, 3 for the joint, and then the nail bed and tip. So let's go back into object mode. Back into quad draw mode. And then I can hold down shift and maybe just kind of play with these lines a little bit. Same on the bottom. So this bottom is a little bit crooked. So I'm hoping the relax will kind of open this up a little bit for me. I'm gonna get too carried away with it because we will disturb our sides. Okay, so that's about right, I think. It's close enough. And I'm not sure I like the tip. I'll probably have to fix that a little bit as we go. All right. Yeah, some adjusting to do because now that I've relaxed it. Of course, it's kind of averaging the points, so I've lost a bit of structure as far as 1, 2, 3 for the joint goes. Okay, so there we go. I'll tweak that after. Okay, so let's unenliven. Let's hide the hand for a sec. Don't like that the finger's twisted like that, but what you gonna do? Yeah, I would make sure it's all nice and straight and everything. Let's append. So append to polygon. And I want to click on an edge and just follow counterclockwise, edge to edge. Oops, missed one there. Did I? There we go. Enter. Okay. And then multi-cut. We split here. Because we only have 8, we just split and split like that. So this will all need to be like straightened and lined up and everything. I'm going to bring the hand back. Going to go into object mode. Thought I brought the hand back. Let's enliven it. And let's grab this. Loop. And let's shift. Smooth out the tip here. Yeah, not super happy with that. It's kind of too chunky twisty. So time to tweak. It's going to be pretty boring. I'm just going to snap align a bunch of stuff and kind of twist some loops and things. So maybe I'll pause it up and I'll fix up that finger and I'll come back in a sec. Okay, hang on while I clean up my middle finger. Right, so side view here. So all I did was I just went through here and I tried to line these up like from side to side in the side view because you can see they're not perfect, right? I didn't snap them or anything. You can see kind of thick double lines and whatnot going on here. So this is just trying to roughly get it symmetrical. If I was really wanted to be kind of really super anal about this, I would have deleted half and then mirror the geometry, and then I would have had a symmetrical finger, which is still an option at some point if that's what we want to do, and that's fine. And then I just snapped these joint lines straight, and then rotated them to angle them into position, and that's kind of it. Now I hope from the front view it's a little bit square, so it's a little bit better. I'm going to check it again from the top view. So it looks like it's off a little bit, like thickness wise. So you can see if I'm going to stick with this thickness. Oh, I did snap this midline front, top and bottom as well. So this is going to allow me to get like the dead center line here. And then, like I said, if I was really wanted to make sure that I had a really symmetrical finger, I'd delete half, just like we do for the head or for anything else. And then set the mirror point to be object X, and then, or in this case, object Z, and just mirror it into the positive Z direction. We could delete one half or the other, so negative Z or positive Z. But I can live with this, I guess, right? It's fine. So that's looking okay-ish. Let's bring the hand back so we can see it's kind of right. It's close-ish. I'm not sure where this joint is. This joint might need to move a bit forward, like these rows here. And then I'm missing my midline here because I think I added it. I went one too far back. So let me put in another point in there. And if we make this live again, and just grab these points, just so that all you have to do is like nudge them a little bit, and they'll re-snap to the surface. So I don't know if you can see that. And just move them ever so slightly, and they'll readjust themselves, like shrink wrap themselves back onto the mesh. So that's it. So that's one finger done. Now the fingers are identical. So this is kind of, if you remember back to Homer in first semester, why would I rebuild a finger? They're the same finger. So I'm going to duplicate this chunk, and I'm going to just size it. And you can see sizing should be fairly easy with the live feature on, because it'll make the surface sticky. So once I start to scale it and do things to it, it should stick to the geo. So first step, I'm going to de-liven, whatever we want to call it. So there's my object. Where's my pivot? It's probably at the origin. So I'm going to separate first, because these two objects are the same quad drop. So I'm going to delete the history. I'm going to go mesh. Oops. I'm going to go mesh separate. So that should now be two separate objects. So again, deleting the history. Taking this finger, making a duplicate. So what we have now is, you can see we have a poly surface 2, and then we have two new surfaces underneath. That's what happens when we separate. So I'm going to take this poly surface 4. I'm going to center the pivot, insert, or the letter D, and drag this back so that the pivot is right at the back end of the finger, and then insert to exit. Bringing back the hand and making a duplicate of this. So Control D, and this one can move over here. And then we're going to want to rotate it so it matches the angle of the hand, and it looks like it needs to be shrunk down a little bit. Oh, yeah, so let's make sure that our move tool is set to object so that we can push and pull in the direction it's already going. This just looks to need to be shrunk a little bit. And then if we go live and component mode, and all I need to do is, I'm just going to grab all these verts, and if I just nudge those verts, it should pop. There we go. So you see that it just shrunk wrap right onto the shrink wrapped on the finger. So yeah, some adjusting to do. Whatever, it's fine. I'm gonna keep going. So I'm gonna de-liven. Object mode, duplicating this finger, Control D, moving it into position, or rotating it, and let's see what this looks like in perspective, because I know that the small finger has a bit of a droop to it. So let's maybe put that down, bit of a droop, and translate it down, and then we can scale it back. And it up a little bit. I think that should work. Ooh, center it a bit nicer. There we go. And checking it again from the top. Should be okay. Cool. Component mode. Oh, sorry. Reliven. Object, component mode, scale, little scale, shrink wrap, done. So yeah, some adjusting just to make sure that everything, like I can see this line looks to be going a little bit too low. So I think we need to, it's not going to be as easy as that. There are going to be some adjustments for the fingertips and perhaps the joint positions. You can see this maybe a little bit far back. So the proportions weren't exactly the same, but pretty close. And index finger is last, so again, de-liven, grabbing the middle finger, I think, duplicating that, W for the move, put it where it needs to go, rotate it so that the orientation is matching, check it in Persp that, yeah, it needs to rotate down or translate down even. So let's translate that down. Let's rotate that down. So this one's a bit weird because it looks like I need to increase. So definitely shorter, a little bit shorter. I x-ray everything just so I can see. Maybe rotate that up a little bit more. Yeah, it looks about, that should be okay. So let's go back to the top view. Let's shift this over a little bit and then rotate it back. There we go, a little bit. There we go. Yep. Okay. So reliven, grabbing this one, component mode, grabbing all the verts, scale, nudge, and it pops on. And as I mentioned 4 times already with each finger, a bit of tweaking to do for the fingertips and just making sure everything's, don't want to mess with the straight lines, but around some of these edges and making sure the joints are in the right place. So there's a bit of tweaking to go on there. I'm not going to bore you with that. So yeah, that's where I'm at currently. So fingers are done. And, not the greatest or anything, but should work all right. Yeah, a bit of tweaking, bit of whatever that needs to be done, and then we're gonna fill in whatever's left by quad drawing this all together. So I'm going to what are we at? 22 minutes. So I guess I'll stop here. So fingers are done. I'll do a bit of tweaking off camera, come back in the next video, and we're gonna do the rest of the hand back to the wrist. Okay, see you in the next one. Can't find the pause button. See you in the next one.